Good day. I'm Deji Serrana,
And I am Jeffy Sterana.
and we're going to discuss
Nepotism.
nepotism. Nepotism is favoritism granted to relatives or friends regardless of merit. The word nepotism is from the Latin word nepos or nepotis, meaning nephew or grandchild are also descended. Later malalaman natin kung ano ang nagagawa ng nepotism sa halos lahat ng bagay. We have types of nepotism. First is the papal. So papal, nepotism gained its name after the church practice in the Middle Ages when some Catholic popes and bishops who had taken vows of chastity and therefore usually had no children of their own gave their nephews such positions of preference as were often accorded by fathers to sons. Next to papal is political. So, nepotism in political is a common accusation in politics when the relative of a powerful figure ascends to similar power seemingly without appropriate qualifications. Ayan, best example dito, yung mga politicians na pinagpapasapasahan lang yung katungkulan sa pamilya lang din nila. Political is entertainment. So, accusations of nepotism are made in instances of prima facie favoritism to relatives. In such cases are the casting of Tori Spelling as Donna Martin in Beverly Hills. 9210 received much criticism. Her father, Aaron Spelling, was the executive producer. Next is business. On 13th February 2003, James Murdoch became a director of BS Skyby. Later that year, he controversially became CEO of BSkyB, in which News Corporation owns a controlling minority stake. His appointment sparked accusations of nepotism, with some commentators and shareholders feeling that the job had not been open to outsiders and that Murdoch was too young and experienced to run a UK news agency. Fourth is popular culture. In the TV series SpongeBob SquarePants, in the episode Culture Shock, the character Squidward states that nepotism is alive and well at the talent show that Mr. Krabs, the owner of the Krusty Krab restaurant, had organized in order to make more money for the restaurant. Squidward makes this statement because the first act that appears at the talent show is Mr. Krabs' own daughter, Pearl. Okay, nandito na tayo sa pinaka-controversial. Nepotism in government. So, nepotism in government is a form of corruption that weakens morale and productivity in the public sector, promotes patronage politics, and breeds public distrust in government. Uh, This is according to Francisco Duque III, Civil Service Chairman, Commission Chairman. The rule on nepotism under the Administrative Code of 1987 prohibits appointments in the national government made in favor of relatives within the third degree of consanguinity or affinity of either the appointing authority, recommending authority, chief of Bureau of Office, or persons exercising immediate supervision over the appointee. Exempted from this rule are persons employed in a confidential capacity, teachers, physicians, and members of the armed forces of the Philippines. In the case of local governments, however, the Local Government Code of 1991 says that nepotism exists when an appointment is made within the fourth degree of consanguinity or affinity of the appointing or recommending authority. Example of nepotism in government is the case of Ponciano Escatipon Junior, Director 3 at the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority. The CSC or the Civil Service Commission made this clarification following the dismissal of Ponciano Escatipon Jr., Director 3 at the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority for violation of the rule on nepotism. The Civil Service Commission said an appointment is considered nepotic when issued to a person related to a head of office within the prohibited degree of relationship, regardless of whether or not the aforesaid head of office has exerted undue influence on the recommending or appointing authority. The Civil Service made this clarification following the dismissal of Ponciano Escatipon Jr., Director 3 at the Technical Education Skills Development Authority for violation of the rule on nepotism. So based on records, Katipon was appointed Director 3 in July 1999 and designated Provincial Director of TESDA Aurora Provincial Office in September of the same year. In October 1999, Katipon's first cousin was appointed Financial Analyst 2 in the provincial office. In 2002, upon Katipun's recommendation, a vacant TESDA specialist position in the provincial office was open to interested applicants. His brother, Virgilio, who was working in the same provincial office as cash clerk, applied for the position and underwent screening. In April 2002, the regional director of TESDA Regional Office Number 4 granted the promotional appointment of Virgilio to the said position. 7 months later, a complaint was filed before the Civil Service Commission Regional Office for nepotism against Katipon, his brother, and his first cousin. After due process, the CSRCO found Katipon guilty of nepotism for the appointment of his brother. The CSC did not hold him liable in the appointment of his first cousin, as it falls outside the prescribed degree of relation. In its ruling, the CSCRO stated that even though he was not the appointing or recommending authority in the appointment of his brother, Katipon was holding the position equivalent to Chief of Bureau when applications to the senior TESDA specialist position were assessed. It further disclosed that Asuncion El Mata, the purported immediate supervisor of Virgilio, was a subordinate of Katipon and served as head of the personnel selection board that evaluated the applications. Katipon filed an appeal with the CSC Central Office, asserting that he had no influence over the appointment of his brother and that the latter went through the application process wherein he was evaluated best among all applicants. He also alleged that his position as provincial director is not analogous to chief of Bureau of Office. In Civil Service Commission Resolution number 091264 dated September 1, 2009, the Commission on Bank dismissed the appeal and affirmed the finding of his guilt for nepotism. It established the Katipun's position is indeed equivalent to Chief of Bureau of Office, in that he was at the top of the organizational hierarchy of the TESDA Aurora provincial office and holds the power as its head or overseer. Thus, Katipun was meted the penalty of dismissal from the service with all the accessory penalties of forfeiture of retirement benefits, cancellation of eligibility, disqualification to hold public office, and bar from taking civil service examination. Katipon sought reconsideration of the ruling of the commission, but his effort proved futile when his motion was denied in Civil Service Resolution number 100677 dated April 6, 2010.
So now let's proceed with nepotism in different description. Nepotism favoring relatives because of the relationship rather than the ability and merit. Nepotism is very commonly used as a word describing connection that allows anyone to obtain a certain job. In the Philippines, it is known as compadre system in terms of economic and employment. Nepotism creates problem. It is a common accusation in politics when the relative of a powerful figure ascends to similar power seemingly without appropriate qualifications, as we can see in the figure. Nepotism is synonymous to succession. In government, nepotism results to political dynasties that constrains other more better employees to be productive one. So these are the effects of nepotism. First, corruption because of self-interest, under the table negotiations, illegal protection due to debt of gratitude, and other political crimes leading to claims of conflict of interest, favoritism, and discrimination.
That's all. Thank you. And
Mabuhay.
mabuhay.